morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are we doing today? Today is just going to be a bit of a craft room reset video again, live stream workflow. I finished up the dress. I don't have any pictures, but my friend is going to be wearing it to a wedding soon, so hopefully we'll get some pictures from the wedding, and she'll send those to me of her in the dress that we finished making. I'm very happy with how it turned out. It looks so good, but you'll just have to take my word for it. I'm sorry for the delay getting on here. The jar that I decided to pour my matcha into this morning happened to have a hole in the bottom that I didn't notice, so I had to clean up a little bit of a mess. Anyway, thank you so much for being patient. I know this is a different day than I normally stream. I was not feeling very well yesterday. I woke up and I was in so much pain I could not get out of bed, but I'm feeling a bit better today. It's a bit more manageable, so we're doing good when it comes to that. I am gonna move the chat box over because I can't see it where the chair is sitting right now. So I'm gonna do that. I will be right back. My hair? No. I didn't do anything with my hair. I just brushed it. Thank you. Yeah, so I woke up not feeling very good, and I knew that I needed to have as much energy as possible to help with the volunteer stuff that I'm doing in the evenings. So I had to make the choice of like where is my energy best going to be utilized for myself. Like I have this so basically, like I guess I can explain this part. I am helping out with the thing that I am volunteering at. I'm helping out with some craft projects for kids. I'm not the leader, but I am helping the leader out with the kids. And I felt as though the kids needed the best energy that I was able to give them. So yeah, we made the choice of, okay, let's postpone stream a day when I hopefully am feeling better. And then I am feeling better, so that worked out. So, I hope everyone else is doing okay. Oh, yay! Congrats on exercising your academic civil duty by voting in your student government. Student government is something I think when you are a student in college, you should participate in whatever way you're able to, whether it be by like actually participating in like the voting structures for your student government leads, or by actually participating in student government. When I was in college, I kind of got peer pressured into joining the Student Association Senate. I say that I kind of got peer pressured. I appreciate her every day for doing that. She was she was a couple years ahead of me in college, but she and I had we shared a couple of business classes. We had actually on campus for like one of our like jobs during the summer that we worked on the college campus. She and I had the same employer, so we did kind of know each other. And she pestered me for like a week. She was pestering everybody to apply, because you had to apply. You had to fill out in order to get on the Senate, to get approval to do the Senate, you had to apply and then get a specific amount of signatures, and then the actual the only truly completely elected officials were the SA, president, vice president, secretary, those positions. For student association, those were elected, but the Senate was not elected. It was because not a lot of people wanted to be on Senate at the school, so they kind of didn't put up that barrier, which I think is kind of sad. But so you had a lot of people, you had to apply for it. You had to interview with a member of the student body that had been the SA, the student association that had been elected for that year. You had to interview with them after you had gotten, I think it was you had to get, it was somewhere between 20 and 50 signatures from different members of the student body. So you had to, for some people that's super easy. You just go around and you get signatures from all of your friends and no big deal. For someone that was super shy and introverted like me, it was okay, I've got classmates I know that will sign for it. I have to put up, but so now I have to go and talk to people that I haven't talked to very much. I have talked to them. So it was my core friends, my classmates, and then the last 5 signatures were hey, so I'm doing this thing. Could you sign my petition to have my to get interviewed? So I interviewed, and then so it's basically, it was a volunteer club thing. So you we had meetings every other week where we would present ideas, plans for events on campus, and things that we wanted to initiatives that we wanted to have championed. We voted on them. Then we sent out emails to the student body with the minutes and a brief explanation of what occurred to our specific group that we were assigned to. And since at the time that I was in school, what is this doing in the trash? Who? Rude. The ghosts are putting my books in the trash can. Since I was, this was so long ago now. Yeah, well, there was more than, at the time, there was a large proportion of business students that were on the SA Association, Student Body Association Senate. And so we got assigned to departments that were not necessarily the ones that we were a part of. I got assigned to the art department, which was great. which is great because like I also like loved the art department. I loved the people in the art department. I had so many friends in the art department. So I was one of two of the senators that were assigned to the art department. I only did that for a year because my class schedule the next year didn't end up working out to accommodate like the time that like Senate would be meeting, and neither did the job that I ended up getting either the next year. But for the year that I did do it, it was a great experience. I think that everyone should. Business students are the natural enemies of business biology. I actually don't think so. At least, I mean, to be fair, I think that there are, there was a good amount of overlap between the business and biology students as far as like friend groups go. At least at my school, like when I was in college, you had there was like my a lot of my friends were in the humanities. But I think that's also like it's different, you know, like every school's different, every person's different. So it's like not like a monolith thing. And I mean, things are also different because like I went to university before COVID. So there's that. Okay. So anyway, I need to never be afraid to postpone or cancel stream. We want what's best for you. Thank you so much, Teru. This is my student parliament actually passed that they want to boycott and divest from that one country we both hear about so much. Yeah. But the uni itself doesn't seem to care about that. Yeah, that's the hard part. See, like when I was on the student senate, like it does feel like, and that's the thing about like any student government, it does feel that like on some levels you're not really given like that, like the agency to do very much. You're kind of like left to like, okay, like I mean, we have like, you're saying that you're giving us like the chance to like, you know, voice what the students are wanting, but like what is it that we're like actually doing, right? So like how is that, you know? Anyway, so the what's actually getting listened to. So I remember there is after I graduated, so I haven't ever actually seen this building in person. I have not been back to the university to see this new building in person, but they were building a new student center building like the school had gotten a bunch of donations to build one in honor of one of our previous presidents of the university, who was very beloved. He was the president when I started started at that college, and at university he was beloved by the student body. At one point he had made a bet with a class or something like that. I don't remember exactly what that bet was about, but I think it had something to do with like a charity drive or donation or something. And like if a specific goal had been met, like for like the volunteer work that the students were doing, that like he would dye his hair blue. And he did. So you have this the president of the university, someone who, you know, people are supposed to take seriously, like he just dyed his hair blue because, you know, he made an agreement with students, and he followed through on that agreement. Absolutely loved him. Not to put him on like, you know, like the biggest pedestal ever, because, you know, for sure he was human and he needed to retire, but that like after that it was anyway, so they made they put up a building, like people had donated and put up a building for the student center, which of any building on campus to be named after him, to be like a building in his honor, because of how much he cared for the student body and like their ability to like have fun in addition to like getting their studies and like have like that balance, like have that balance in life and making sure that they're like good. Student center makes the most sense. So when I was on the student association senate, so that was like a few years, that was like a year, 2 years before I graduated. we had plans come across like Student Association Senate of like, hey, here are the plans for this upcoming student center. What do you think the student body will feel about, what we're planning on including in here? And there are some things we were like, this is giving Google. This is giving Google Campus. This is giving Google corporate office. At the time, Google was known as having like the fun office space with like, like all the fun things like around. It's just like, it's giving Google. And it's not wrong. It was indeed giving Google, but like there were things that were like, yeah, I mean, that is kind of fun. Is the slide down from the second floor actually like safe? Is that going to be like a potential like safety concern, like liability? Like, I get like the huge human-sized chess game like on the floor. That's cool. People will have fun with that. Like we asked questions, like we gave her feedback, but in the end, I am not entirely sure how much of our feedback would actually made it into the final product. Because again, I have not been back. I have not seen it in person. That sounds like a cool man. Although I've heard a lot about bio research getting divested for some football. Yeah. See, that's the thing. I think the difference between there's a difference between different academic institutions, and depending on the academic institution you're looking at, the situation of funding is really, really tricky. So the university that I went to does not at the time did not have, I'm not going to say for the future, it did not have a competitive sports thing at all. About the only thing that they kind of had was an acro sport team, which is basically I'm not going to say it's like cheerleading, because that would be insulting to both groups in some capacity, but it's more similar to like Cirque du Soleil in the type of acrobatics and gymnastic basics and tumbling and building that it's done. It's not gymnastics like Olympic gymnastics. It's acro sport. It's more it's closer to cheerleading, but it's not cheerleading. And I'm not saying cheerleading in a demeaning way, because cheerleading is it's a sport. And yeah, the acros. Anyway, they had that. That was like the most like competitive, and they didn't really even like compete that much. They just like would go around and do shows. So more similar to like Cirque du Soleil. I think they had at one point some former Cirque du Soleil members as like coaches at one point. So like there are like that was the closest that we got. Hi. Hello, welcome. So yeah, I think depending on the academic institution that you go to and where funding is coming from really does skew where like the funding actually goes. Cause like, yeah, let's see. So with the case of the new student center, like the funding was there for that, like the donations were given for that specifically. So if you have donors that are like, okay, I am only donating for the football team to get a new stadium, like that's all I'm donating for. Like they have to spend the money on the thing that the donors specify the money to be spent on. It is the responsibility of the university to then seek out donors to help their to care for their medical students, but a lot of people at the end of the day are really just trying to figure out how they can get the most money into the university. And unfortunately for some universities, it is the case where football and their sports teams are the way that the money gets brought into the universities, which is a real shame. Like that my college, the college I graduated from, I haven't been back there, but I do know that they are getting a new building for their business department, the department I graduated from. And they need it, actually. They really do, because like when I went to school there, the business department was in the same building on the same floor as the history department. Small building. History and English and business were all on the same floor. All the teachers' offices were all on like that floor, and then the bottom floor, but majority were on that top floor. And then the middle floor, so it's 3-floor building. The middle floor was the art department. The art department also had an annex where they had their like an off building where they had studio space in there for pottery and sculpture work. But so like the art department was all on just one floor. And then the bottom floor was photography. It was a school of journalism, had their offices down on the bottom floor. So they had a photography lab, a Mac computer lab, and then like a couple classroom spaces, and they had the news like studio space. That was all crammed into one small building. So the business department did need a new building. It needed to be off on its own so that those other departments had room to expand within that building. To be honest, each one of those departments really needed their own building, my personal opinion. But if they all had to be, if something had to move, because of how big the business department had been getting, it needed to have its own building. Again, my opinion, the art department definitely needed to have their own building. They were crammed like sardines onto one floor, and they had the art department include like an exhibit space that was not very big. It really wasn't, but it was beautiful, especially with like student projects. There was one exhibit that a student did that was so immersive. It was amazing. I absolutely loved it. And they had a couple of labs on their floor, and like a couple classroom spaces, but they were pretty crammed on that floor. So it really does depend on where like what the school is pushing for donations for, especially when it comes to donors, and then what donors are willing to donate to. And yeah. Fun side story. Can you believe I have to replan my career? ? I heard they made a one-use treatment that caused a woman to develop the ability to make enough of her own insulin again. No injections needed. Also, the test subject lady only melted a little bit. Oh. How are you changing your career path? Are you going... Isn't that horrible? I planned on producing insulin. Now I have to face that they can clearly heal diabetes. You know what? My best friend is a type 1 diabetic, so it would be amazing to find a cure. But yes, I am so sorry that you have to readjust your career plans. I decided to put all of my like loose stickers in this bag. I don't remember where I got the bag, but actually might have come from one of my coworkers. One of the someone that worked at another Joann Fabrics had made these for her teammates, and she reached out to me on Instagram asking if she could send some to me. So I have a couple extras that she sent me. I'm gonna give them to my ex-coworkers when I see them next. And I sent her, I'm hoping she got it. I need to double check on the I need to double check. Is this the shipping receipt? No. I need to double check on the tracking to make sure that she got it. I sent her one of the original like green Joann aprons, the dark green aprons, and a little like the little gift that I made my former coworkers. So I'm hoping she got them. This combo. I am not the most famous Joann employee, no. That is no. No, see, I probably could have been if I had chocolate. I probably could have been if I had, you know, posted about Joann's closing more while it was closing. But I didn't. Ooh, cookie cutters. Need to throw. Probably could have been, but I didn't. At least not on TikTok. What's this? Pink slip. About it is a sorry, this is actually the receipt from a pottery night I did with some friends back in 2024. Okay, I can't throw that away. Oh, that's cute. Oh, a little note. Okay, gotta put that up there. Okay. Now this might look like a Christmas tin, but it is in fact staplers. just something else I also got. I stole from the Joann's. It's basically a bunch of tags that say like categories of where, like, what something is from the store. I kept it because I'm a hoarder. No, I kept it because I was like, oh, this will be fun for like organizing my my sewing accoutrements, so I could use that for that. One of my sets of glasses broke. Let's see if I can pop the lens back in. I hate when lenses pop out. It's the most inconvenient thing. Yeah, it does. Okay, so that actually is a receipt from the, actually, so it was, hey, I was hanging out with my friends, and it was the pottery night was when I started to realize that I had feelings for my partner. Because we were just friends. We'd been friends for a few, like 2 years at that point. That was very stupid. To be sentimental over a receipt that I didn't realize I still had. I honestly had no idea I still had that receipt. But yeah, it was, yeah, 4 of us went, 2 of my really dear friends and my now partner. Come on. I know you can fit back in place. You once belonged inside of this glasses frames. There's a reason why I gave up. Okay. Try that again another time. It's a band-aid. Expiration date on you? That's weird. Well, you're definitely old. So, this doesn't have an expiration date either. That is also weird. So I'm not entirely sure what you're asking. Do I have a Switch? So my sibling does have a like a dial thing that he uses for when he does his own audio stuff. But I do not want to have one over here. I have a little Stream Deck. Tiny little cute Stream Deck. Cute little And I can, so basically all I can do is like I can mute the mic over there, or I can mute the mic here. Muted. Now it's not muted, so I can mute it there, and then I have it set so it's supposed to like automatically lower the music when I'm talking into the mic properly. If I'm not talking into the mic properly, it doesn't do that. I meant to donate this. I don't know how it works. And I feel like the fact that it's still sitting here means I'm supposed to figure it out, but I have not used this. Like, okay, so my roommate in college, my freshman year, actually gave this to me as a gift when we moved into our dorm room, because she knew that I like to sew. And I've never been able to figure it out. So that was 10 years ago. That was 10 years ago. Dear Lord. Like, kids are so funny. Kids are so funny. So one of the kids at the thing that I'm helping out at mistook me for someone that worked at a summer camp that they went to earlier in the summer. They're like, "You work at this camp?" And I was like, "No." Big no. I'm so sorry, no. They're like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I worked at a summer camp when I was in college, but that was like in a different state, and that was 10 years ago." And they're like, 10? How old are you? I was like, "Oh." And then one of them was like, "Are you like in your 40s?" I was like, no, I'm not that old." And the other one was like, "You've got to be 30." And I was like, very close, kid. Very close. But like, kids are so funny. They're so funny. But, yeah. So funny. It's not a stapler. I wish. It'd be really self-explanatory. It'd be really self-explanatory if it was a stapler. No. It is a handheld sewing machine, but it only has one thread that you use on it. And my brain cannot compute why. I seem to have a nice setup. Yeah, my brother has helped me quite a lot. The cameras that I'm using are my brother's. Actually, he's letting me use them to like test out. He's letting me use them to test out like streaming structure and like what stream setup I want to use, but they are his, and he uses them for he just like his plans in the future. I'm not sure, on, so I can't speak on those, but he has some ideas and stuff for the future that he would use them for. But the things that I own that he, like, a lot of, like, there's stuff that, like, the cameras are his and I borrow them. I've got the Stream Deck I purchased for myself. My microphone I purchased for myself on his recommendation when I started, like, streaming regularly. All of this is stuff, like, he's the techie one. He's been, like, recommending me, like, products. And then I've got, like, I need a better cord management system, but I do have, like, a thing to, like, plug everything into so that it all, like, is operating on the same little switch thing. I don't know what it's called. So yeah, the mic I got, it was not the most expensive microphone. But it was the one that, like, was within my budget at the time, that which now my budget's, like, so much tighter, but, like, my budget at the time, that my brother was like, yeah, this is about, like, the lowest cost that I would go for quality of microphone. Once walked past my old kindergarten and there was, like, 2 boys were pretend fighting and we're like, oh, let's pretend we're both former friends and you're 18 and I'm 81. I cannot do it. Yeah, like, that seems like a fair dynamic, but I mean, if one person's eternal and the other's stuck, yeah, that's, you know. Anyway, yeah. With an avocado. There is an avocado-based restaurant here in the Chicago area, and they give out free stickers at, like, their door when you're leaving. And I picked the cat with the avocado because that made sense. And there are a couple of other things, like, they're all avocado themed stickers, and it's just a fun little. Nearly fell. Speaking of crafts, I actually need to do some prep for the craft for tonight for the the children. We're making little puppets. So I've got to cut out the heads for the puppets because the little ones... Yeah, I'm glad I didn't try cutting these out on my Cricut because none of these are the same shape. So I gotta cut out heads, and since none of them are the same shape, I'm gonna need 4 different bags. Okay, I gotta go grab some more Ziploc bags. Give me a moment. I need 1 bag for every head shape. Okay, so we've got... I'm glad that was cathartic for you. Oh, nope. There we go. torn. So, I love, so my favorite season, is winter. But I love, I love fall and spring equally, so I can't like pick between the two of them, and summer's just not my jam. It's too hot. It's too warm. Like, I'm generally someone that's like always cold, but during the summer I am just always, I've been way too warm lately. And says the person who's wearing a sweater. I get the irony. I'm just comfy right now. Inside with the air conditioning. But I would not wear this to go outside. It is way too hot to wear this outside. Let me use some paper clips. But I love like the same reasons why I love spring, I love fall. Like, I love the beautiful colors. I love the fact that there is a good mix of cool and warm days. I love getting to wear my sweaters. Like, by the time spring gets here, I'm ready for it. And by the time fall gets here, I am really ready for it. And then winter, I love winter being my favorite season. It really is regionally specific. So I need to be somewhere where there is snow, because if there isn't snow, like if snow is not something that like regularly occurs, I don't see the point of a rainy winter, of a cold, dreary winter with just rain. It just is a disappointment. I like to see snowflakes falling. I like to see like twinkle of lights off the snow. I like being cozy inside. I love feeling like I'm in a snow globe. Don't necessarily love driving in it, but like that's not my criteria for my favorite. I don't like driving in rain either, so yeah. I used to run really warm. I think I've talked about this before, but I have an autoimmune disease called Graves' disease, and like part of that is how it impacts bodies the body's regulation of temperature. So like before I got diagnosed, like it was the middle of winter and I was just wearing like a very light jacket. I wasn't wearing like a big puffer coat, and we lived in a pretty, the state that we lived in was pretty cold. Like pretty cold winter where I lived. Like cold, I would say, yeah, colder, like where we lived, because where we lived at the time, it was further north than I currently am living. So it was like, yeah, winters were pretty cold. And my mom and I had so many fights about how I wasn't wearing a warm enough jacket, but like I was burning up. I was so warm all the time. And then was diagnosed with Graves' disease and got my thyroid fixed, and now I run cold the majority of the time. thyroid things. I actually had to I didn't have to mention it. I did mention it yesterday, and the person that I was talking to was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I mean, there's worse things. there are actually worse things. And I know that that's like crazy. So like when I was I had posted about it a few times on like a blog that I had at the time in college, and then I had posted on my Instagram at one point in college about, you know, like my diagnosis and, you know, how like what was leading up to it, like what treatment was like. I'm not shy talking about it, because like when I was going through everything that I was going through with my thyroid issues, I felt so incredibly alone, because at the time, like, I didn't really know anybody else that was going through the same things that I was going through. And I felt so incredibly alone. So I posted about it. I didn't want to make it like my entire personality, but I've posted about it every so often, because I like want to ensure that people like especially a kid that was diagnosed at the same age as me knows that like it's not the end of the world. Because I was diagnosed when I was in 7th grade with Graves' disease, and it really it felt really scary. So when I was in college, I actually had some moms reach out to me on my Instagram DMs, telling me about their girls that had been their daughters that had been diagnosed around the same age I had been diagnosed, if not earlier. And one of they were both like, I'm like so worried about my daughter. I'm so worried about like, you know, like everything that's in it. And it's, I remember how worried my mom was for me, like how like worrying about your child, like is she like what things are gonna like happen. Like I remember my mom crying about some of the things that I wasn't able to do because of like how my body was treating me that year that I got diagnosed. And like with the changes my body was going through because of the like medical intervention. Like it would have been worse if like the medical intervention hadn't happened, but you know, there were like my body was like going from operating at like one level to then getting like that was like not normal, like really high not normal, then to being like forced down to what's supposed to be a normal level. And that like is a shock for the body. So it had like some, you know, side effects that made that summer like kind of miserable for me. And and talking about like that summer with those moms, like my only hope was that like it gave them, you know, like courage to know that they are doing, you know, they're doing the best for their kids, and they are, you know, their kids are going to their kids still have such a bright future ahead of them. And like it's actually not the end of the world, it's just the beginning for them. Because like that's like something that I think everyone can like need sometimes, especially when faced with something that's like scary, as like the adjustment period of like figuring out what it is that your body now needs, and how does getting to the point where you're better, like operating at like a healthy level, how does that process like end up impacting you? So yeah, I can only hope that I was helpful. Yeah, I mean, okay, so like when I was diagnosed, 7th grade, so that's like 7th grade the US, I was 14 when I started high school, so I was like 12. Yeah, 7th grade is like I was 12 years old, and I was going through a lot of, so it was in February or January of that year. It was beginning of that year that I got diagnosed. I let's see. How do I had been failing all of my subjects because I wasn't able to pay attention, because I wasn't able to sit still. I was so jittery. I was having a really hard time focusing. My teachers suggested that I get screened for ADHD. What is up? Sorry, I keep feeling like I'm getting bitten. Just not a fun feeling. Which has never happened before. Why are you doing this to me now? I have warned you so many times, and I think there's just... Anyway. Yeah, to get screened for ADHD, the doctor looked at me and was like, "You are textbook Graves' disease. We're just gonna do some tests to confirm," and then sent me off to a specialist after those tests came back so that we could go through what actual treatment process was gonna look like. We decided on one. There are a couple treatments for hyperthyroidism, Graves' disease. My doctor and parents felt that that having my thyroid killed and then taking supplements for the rest of my life would be the easiest for me to work with long term, since there was no, resetting my thyroid. Like my thyroid was just always going to operate way too high. Instead of taking suppressants, just kill my thyroid and take supplements for the rest of my life. Take replacement hormones for the rest of my life. And so that's what we did. And it wasn't really until the summer, well, like it was like around end of May, beginning of June, where that ended up having an impact on my my menstrual cycle, which led to me bleeding. Trigger warning, blood. Sorry, I should have said that first. And the topic of the menstrual cycle. Also, sorry for the delayed trigger warning there. Bled for the entire summer. Continuously. Nonstop. Just so much blood. I got really good at cleaning blood stains out. Like I saw a post by someone the other day, where it's like men can go years without ever seeing their own blood. But as a woman, I am so used to seeing my own blood. Like I am so comfortable with seeing my own blood. Like not all women are like that, because they're one of the older siblings of one of my classmates would faint at the mention of blood. So like the sight of blood was just not it. It would not work for her. So like that's always an issue. But like I have gotten so used to seeing my own blood And that year, because I had like I was still like pretty like new to the whole, you know, bleeding once a month thing, and I thought I was dying. I actually thought I was dying. And I felt so incredibly alone. And this was part of the reason why like I've shared my story every so often, is especially this part, because like when I went to my when I went to a doctor, I had to go, let's see, I ended up, because I didn't feel comfortable like in our town, the only doctor that like was available for me to like talk about this, to get like to talk about this issue, was a man, and I didn't feel comfortable talking about my period around men at that time, because again, I was a child, and I had only ever really had female doctors up until that point. So I didn't want to talk to him, so we started out with a midwife, actually, who prescribed me birth control, but the level of birth control that she prescribed to me did not stop the bleeding. So then I ended up having to go to see the OBGYN. And he had me do I had to do an ultrasound to see if there was any, you know, like if there was any abnormalities. And he told me that he would get like somewhere between 5 and 10 girls a year into his office dealing with very similar issues to mine. And this was back, you know, 2008, 2009. I had no idea that this was like something that like is pretty common. It's a pretty common occurrence where like, especially when you're like a preteen or a teenager, where that happens for any number of reasons. Mine just happened to be related to the fact that my body's hormone balance was getting messed with by the fact that it had been operating at a way too high level, and we were forcing it down. So yeah, it basically so that summer, basically spent that whole summer trying different doses of birth control to try and stop my period, and it eventually worked. We found a dosage level that kept it at bay, and it just became one of those medications that I just had to take in order to, you know, function. I take levothyroxine. The fact that I know that L-thyroxine is levothyroxine should be your hint that yes, that is what I take. I have a rule though. I never talk about dosage of medication online. I'm okay saying that I take levothyroxine because that's one of the synthetic like the thyroid medications. But I do not talk about specific dosages online. Yeah. So yeah, that summer was rough, but it like at the time there is it was like, it was rough, and it also was a time that like made my faith like more secure, if that makes sense. Like there's a story in the New Testament of the Bible where Jesus is in a crowd, and there's a woman who has been hemorrhaging for a really long time, and she reaches out and touches his cloak, and that heals her. And at the time, because like I had not heard of anybody else talking about like having this issue that apparently, according to my doctor, is like so incredibly normal, that was like the only story that I felt I could draw comfort from. Tougher than the Marines. I mean, it's all like a personal boundary thing on like the dosages. I prefer not to disclose dosages of medications that I'm taking. I know like there's very few things that people can do with levothyroxine that are like bad. I don't know. I haven't looked into it. I just prefer not to. Like if I'm talking, you know, like one-on-one, like with like my best friend, cuz like she's got like type 1 diabetes, and like we just talk about, you know, our like autoimmune bodies, like our own particular autoimmune issues. Like I'll talk to her about like my dosage. We'll be like, yeah, like I'm taking blah 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 blah. I had to do blah 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 blah. But because of how like very personal like dosages are, I just have that personal thing of like on the internet, I don't talk about the dosage of my medication that I'm currently taking. Like in college, I can talk about this part. Like in college, I had to take 2 different dosages. And right now I don't remember what those were, so even if I wanted to, I couldn't tell you which dosage were. But I had to take the 2 different dosages because it was too expensive or not available to do a dosage for what like my body actually needed at the time. So I had to do like 2 days of one dosage, 3 days of another. Like no, wait, that's not 7. I had to do 4 days of one dose, 3 days of another. To like kind of like fiddle with the system a little bit. Yeah. Like I'm really thankful that like I had you know, the support system that I had. And that this was all happening during the summer and not during the school year, because I think I would have but now that I'm thinking about it, it kind of did like there's anyway, I'm glad that it happened during the summer and not the school year, because it would have been so miserable. I would have been so embarrassed. I was already kind of pretty embarrassed because like of like there was a, because of, again, it was like so I'm not gonna go into that. Yeah, it was just there were times where I just was like so embarrassed because like things happened that were like outside of my control. Yeah, there are a lot of doctors that belittle it. It's really frustrating. So like at one point, like it was actually when I was in college, I actually had, so we moved And so, because I had been going, like, when we lived in, like, when we moved, I was trying to get, like, a specialist doctor, like, for, like, my thyroid again, and not just, you know, like, a GP, to make sure that, like, my dosages were right, because, like, at that time, like, I was, like, in college, but, like, I had fluctuated so much that, like, I needed in something, and I needed my dosages reevaluated, and I was like, okay, like, we moved to an area where there is a special, like, someone that does specialize in thyroid issues, so, like, I want to go to them. But she would not fill out, like, she would not renew my prescription for the birth control I was taking to control the fact that, like, I have a bleeding problem. So I had to find a different doctor. Was back to just seeing a GP, which is what I've done ever since. Like, because I was not gonna mess with trying to find, like, a doctor that would not, like, because a general practice, they look at the levels. If the levels look normal, then, you know, keep the dosage the same. If they look abnormal, change the dosage. That's, like, all that I need right now. So I don't necessarily need a specialist. So, yeah. It was wild. Like, oh, yeah, I won't redo this prescription. Yes, I know why you're taking it, but I do not personally believe that it is that's not something that I, within my moral compass, prescribe. And I'm like, that's fine. I just will find it in a doctor. Thank you for making this easy for me. I just feel bad for, like, some people if that's, like, the case with their doctor. Their doctor isn't going to prescribe them something because of, like, because of the people that are practicing medicine without a license. That, like, people don't have the ability to find a new doctor like I did at the time. Like, thankfully, like, I had to drive a bit further away than I did, but it was still, like, it wasn't like, it was not, like, an awful distance. It was just a little further. And I could get a doctor that would prescribe what I needed. So, I mean, their loss. Their loss. Well, it's like, okay, like, some people are like, oh, you could, like, I've had this suggestion of people, like, saying, like, okay, apply to work at Hobby Lobby, and I'm like, I'm not gonna work at Hobby Lobby. Yeah, politicians. And when I say practicing medicine without a license, I mean politicians. I mean politicians and insurance companies. But yeah, no, I will never work at Hobby Lobby because Hobby Lobby, if you are on the company's insurance, it does not cover birth control in any way. And I get that their reason is because of their religious beliefs, but I do not understand. I do not understand how I don't know, I'm gonna say it in no uncertain terms. Birth control saved my life. It did, because if that had gone on for a prolonged period of time, I definitely would not be the person I am today. I don't know, I'm gonna keep it at that level. I definitely would not be the person I am today if it hadn't been for the fact that, like, the birth control, eventually we found something that worked, and I was able to get to a point where I could actually, function in society. We're here. I am cutting out heads for puppets, because I think little kids would take way too long to cut these out for the amount of time that we have for the craft, and I don't trust little kids with scissors. Not yet. Not the little ones. Not the tiny ones. Theoretically, if I'd had the original PDF for this, I could have cut this out on my Why is this feeling so itchy? It's like 100% cotton. Good morning, Alexandria. Hello, good morning. How are you today? Still sleepy from yesterday. We went to Medieval Times last night. Ooh. And that was definitely entertaining. That's exciting, though. I have not been to a Medieval Times, but I am actually going to be going to one in October. One of my boyfriend's friends is having a birthday party at Medieval Times. So, we'll be going to celebrate their birthday with them at Medieval Times. It'll be the first time going to Medieval Times, so I'm excited. I actually think it's so funny. Like my best friend from high school, she wanted for her birthday to go to a Renaissance fair, which we did. We went to a Renaissance fair for her birthday, and it was so fun. And then like we got home from that Renaissance fair, and we had the invitation for later this year for her birthday, and it was for Medieval Times. We're like, so this is the year of everyone's birthday being Renaissance or medieval themed, and like being so fantasy, and I love it. I love that that's what everyone's doing this year. It's great. That's why we went, because my husband's friend's birthday. LOL. It's a lot of fun. See, I think everyone just got like on the same page. Like I don't know what it is. Like of like a bat signal, or like a like everyone's on the same page of like, okay, this is what we're doing for our birthdays this year. And then I'm over here like, yeah, I want to go to Japan. It's kind of healing for the childhood heart. I agree. We have like so my birthday's actually coming up. It's August 2nd. So I will not be here on the 3rd for stream. I'm already letting everyone know now. I am taking that weekend off. Cause my partner and I will actually be going to a Renaissance fair with his friends. And I have like a family thing on my birthday, which is the day before. So yeah, it's gonna have to wait for yous. Yeah, so it is. But I'd been planning before the Joanne debacle, I had been planning on a Japan trip for my 30th birthday. I'd been saving for it, and I'm not going alone. So saving for it specifically. And then I had my my little sad little bonus thing from staying with Joanne's till it closed, and basically that bonus is enough for my plane ticket. It's enough for my plane ticket. So when it comes to like other stuff, definitely we're operating within a budget, but yeah. Still planning on going, even though that might not be like the best financial decision. I still we're going. We bought the tickets, so we're going. Or we're going in October. So we're still looking for like all of our hotels and stuff. We've got like a few of them, but we're still looking. And I'm pretty excited. I'll definitely do a bunch of vlogging. We've got some plans. Like we're gonna be hitting up we have like a whole little notes app document where we've been like shared notes app thing where we've been like incorporating stuff in. So I think one of the places, so my partner's already been to Japan before, so that's really helpful. So he's got some places that he's like, okay, these are must sees. We are going to try, the emphasis on try, we are going to try to get tickets to the Studio Ghibli park. I would prefer the museum, but I feel like the park is going to be easier to get tickets to than the museum, so I'm setting my expectations reasonable. I don't know that we're actually going to be able to get tickets for that, but I would like to go to the Studio Ghibli park. That would be like a whole day thing on one day. I would like to go do that. But then as far as like, you know, cultural ones, in no particular order, notes app, places we planned on seeing, we want to go to Osaka to see the castle, Kyoto, bamboo shrine, bamboo forest, and then specifically like the thing that I'm wanting to do is go to Nippori and shop in like the fabric and sewing area, and then like we're gonna hit up a bunch of like tourist stuff too, very like, you know, like Ikebukuro, Akihabara. But yeah, we're wanting to go to like a bunch of different spots. So yeah, it'll be fun. I'm excited. My my partner's been my boyfriend. My partner. I feel weird saying boyfriend because like I feel like we're too old for that, so I keep saying partner. But he's been very good with like the planning and everything. Like he's like I haven't had to worry very much about the that. Like he is someone that's very like spontaneous and kind of like very go with the flow, but when it comes to like finding reservations and the like the plane tickets and everything, like he has been easing my mind with how like organized everything is. I tried yesterday to look for potential hotels for one of the places that we're going to be going to, and I got overwhelmed. I got overwhelmed. I'm like, I don't know. It's more inclusive. I agree. I think I know like there are some people that are like, I don't like the use of partner because then I don't know blah 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 about this person. And I'm like, well, that's the point. Like I would rather say like partner and then like have partner be more normalized so that like, you know, people aren't being unnecessarily discriminated against. Like why are you discriminating against someone based off of like who they've chosen to spend their life with? That's like weird behavior. But anyway, so yeah, my partner and I are planning that, and I'm very excited. Oh yes. Yeah. I love seeing foreign fabric hauls. Me too. So like because everyone like I've seen people like posting, okay, like here are like the fabric stores. I'm like, okay, we're going to Tomato. The fact that it's called Tomato, I just absolutely love. I like Tomato, like as in the silly little pincushion. Tomato. I love it. I love it so much. I'm so excited to go to Tomato and look at their fabric. My mother has said for my birthday she's giving me money, like instead of a birthday gift this year, it's money to like spend in Japan, and I was like, thank you, I appreciate that because we know I'm broke. This trip is making me broke. No, it's fine. It is going to be okay, but anyway, so I was like, thank you, that's actually the best gift, and I was actually planning on buying you fabric. Is there like I mean, I'm not gonna be able to like send her photos and be like, here, like, do you like this, while I'm shopping like I would while I'm here in the US, because she's not gonna be able to respond in time. Like I just know that's a fact. So I'm just gonna be like, okay, if I see anything, do you want like how many meters do you want? Because I'm pretty sure they measure in meters. I'd be surprised if they measure in yards. They definitely probably measure meters. Definitely. So I'm like, do you want like 1 or 2 meters? Do you want like what do you want of the fabric? I'm probably like, especially cottons, because my mom quilts, I'm gonna pick up a few meters of like some fabrics that I think she would be really inspired by. And we're just gonna cross our fingers when I get back on if I did a good job. Fingers crossed. I've also because I've been on because my algorithms know that I've been, planning a Japan trip for over a year. I get fed a lot of okay, here's the things to do in when you get to Tokyo. Like here's an activity to do. And some of them I'm like, that's really cool. And then others I'm like, I can make that at home. Last big vacation, we went to their local Joann's because I didn't know that California had a fabric district. You know what? I feel that. At some point, if I do get to the my desire of of my like clothing production and like, you know, like selling like clothing that I've made side of things up, and like fully operational, I might have to start making regular trips to LA for the fabric district to like source fabric. I might end up having to do that, and I'm gonna need to figure out how to like plan that into a business plan. I've been looking at how much it's gonna cost me to set up an LLC. As long as it's less than $500, like that seems reasonable, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that until after I get back from Japan. Because my money is very much mentally, the money that I have saved is very mentally tied up in, this was all for this Japan trip. So you can't touch it. Like, luckily it's in a savings account I can't touch now. Thank goodness for multiple savings accounts, but yeah. Anyway, I had another thing I was gonna say, and then I got distracted by my brain going a different direction than my sentence was going. No, yeah. Oh, right. Okay. So I've been seeing, I've always had this like desire to make a Decoden phone case. But I want to do one like with, you know, the whipped cream looking like silicone stuff. And like I've been seeing people like, okay, when you're in Tokyo, you need to make a phone case, and it's like a clear case with some like charms and stuff glued on, and I'm like, they're like, it's I'm like, that is so diluted from what my image of a Decoden phone case is, and I just can't. I can't. And it's, they also do like phone charms and stuff that you can make at the store. It's definitely, I would consider it a very like tourist heavy, tourist trappy kind of store. I think it's located in Shibuya. And I was like, yeah, okay, let's look at my bead collection. That bead collection that I have from years, but also has expanded because of Joann's closing. We don't need to go to Japan to make a phone charm. We have the supplies. We can make a phone charm here. So like that is one thing you can check off your list of, not like the list of here's the things that my feed has fed me that like I really don't need to do while I'm in Japan. You could check that off as like I don't need to do them. But then I saw one other person. They went to a museum, and it is a machine knitting museum. The museum itself is free to go in and look at, but they have like, and you have to pay for this part, which I think is like pretty reasonable, or at least the prices that I saw listed are pretty reasonable. It's bicycle powered knitting machines, and you can make like a little pillow pouch or a like a scarf, and depending on like the size of the thing that you're wanting to make, that depends on like what price you end up paying. And I sent that to my partner, and I was like, okay, I was like, please, like, we're gonna be in this town, can we do this? Can this be on our list? And I was like, that seems pretty cool. I was like, yes. That one I'm like, ooh, that one. If I'm gonna go do a crafty thing, like I want it to be something special, but like I know I don't trust getting ceramics back to the States, but a knit good, a bicycle powered machine bicycle powered knitting machine thing, that sounds fun. Welcome back, Teru. Let's see. OMG, same. I really want to get into Decoden, but I honestly need to stop picking up new hobbies. See, that's my problem. I pick up way too many hobbies. That sounds cute. It's interactive in such a unique way. Yeah, it is. I think it's so cool. Like I'm obsessed with that. I think it's so cool. So that's something that I really, really want to do. while there. I also want to go see the capybaras, because there is this zoo in Japan. I think it's actually like a botanic garden that has like capybaras that live there, that I've seen their live streams come across my feed like every so often. Like, it used to a lot more, but it used to so often, and I really want to go see them. So maybe we'll have that added to the list. But yeah, I'll definitely vlog that experience. I'm really looking forward to it. But it has like that trip, the fact that like we've planned it, it has thrown a little bit of a wrench in my like finding a job. Like, if I had found a job like earlier, I think it would have been like fine. It's just like, yeah, I'm taking no paid time off, like I'm gonna be gone, but like I've been here for a couple months, and the longer I go without finding a job, I get a little bit more uncomfy. So like, while I'm still applying, and I'm still like focused on like trying to find a job, I feel like I'm like, my brain is wanting to lean more and more into like doing more of like the freelance stuff right now, like like doing like clothing like alterations, and like the like more like stuff like this, the like the commission stuff that I was doing before. And as long as like, I think right now, as long as I operate under my legal name, that I can legally operate as a sole proprietorship without having to do very much. But if I want to operate under any other name besides my own, I've got to do a lot more paperwork. So I'm looking at like, I think the easiest way for me, I think, is to just form an LLC. The raccoon/tanuki restaurant is on my list of to-dos. It sounds so cool. That sounds amazing. I saw recently, on like the topic of like cool themed restaurants, there is an owl cafe. So it's an owl, so it's like one of those like cat cafes, except it's owls, and like you're like, you have to be, you know, like calm and level. You can't make like fast movements or loud noises, and I think you can only like pet the owls with like one finger, but you can pet the owls. Like, there's like a bunch of like rules and stuff, and I'm like, that sounds so cool. Do markets. Yeah, at some point I would love to do markets. I know right now I don't have like enough of an inventory to do a market, so that's another thing that I need to do, is I need to like build up an inventory of stuff. So like, if I were to do markets, like one of the things that I would probably want to do in the market is like some like upcycled, like kind of like my upcycled strawberry jeans, like have a series of jeans like that. I know I'm not like the first person to do quilted inserts in jeans, but I have got like my own like flair, I think, for them. So like, I kind of want to do that. I do like some of like the bags that I've designed, but again, I would need to make up some of that. I think right now I want to do some custom stuff, like, but I know there's not like, there's a balancing act, because I know like, especially looking at like I'm looking specifically at like how much like people that make custom cosplays, how much money like they're able to like make from their work. It's not a lot. Majority of people that make money through cosplay are making it like other ways. But like it's like one of my thoughts. Is like when I had my Etsy shop open before I realized I was operating in a very legal gray area. I never reached the amount of sales that would have required Etsy to send me tax documents, so I did not do very well. And that's mostly because I just did not have enough inventory or priced at a point where it was going to be a fast direction to that point. So like when I was operating my Etsy shop, like the things that I sold the best were the face masks, actually, like the cottagecore Neapolitan face masks that I made during 2020. And that's of course like time period specific, but I also like made some bags that sold pretty well. And I do want to do some pattern making. Let's see. Oh, pattern makers are also very desired right now. So if you've got the time. Yeah. Yeah, I have been looking at like for some of the stuff that I would happily get into pattern making. I need to take some classes on how to like grade patterns, like how to size them up, like making like size inclusive. What other ways? I am actually confused as to like in regards to, did I say what other ways? I'm not. I've thought about getting into wig sculpting with vintage hairstyles, but it feels like an expensive startup. Yeah. Yeah, wig sculpting, like I have like watching people like do wig sculpting videos, I'm like, man, that is so cool, and that's a lot of glue, and glue's really expensive. Like not like the wigs, like some of the wigs, like some of them they use like, yeah, those are expensive wigs. Like that part's expensive, but like sometimes when they're even using like the more like budget like friendly wig stuff that they're changing like to do the other wig sets, the glue alone is like, that's a lot of glue. That's so expensive. Oh, other ways. Oh, so cosplayers. There's actually a video by I can't actually remember. I think it's by who made the video. I need to give proper credit. I need to give proper credit for videos that I'm referencing. Give me a second. by Sarah Spaceman. It is, I asked 250 cosplayers how they make money, and what I found was surprising. It was from November of 2024, that video. It was incredibly insightful. So, like, some of the ways that, like, cosplayers make money, is, let's see if I can find her graph. She includes quite a few graphs. Okay, so some of the ways that people do, no, go back. Okay, so some of the ways that, from the poll that she did, the largest percentage, are sewing commissioners. That's 22.5%. That is, the percentage that brings in their income. There's also prop commissioners, wig commissioners, TikTok content creator, Patreon creator, Twitch creator, Facebook creator, YouTube creator, like, and the list, there's 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. There's a number of other, like, options. I think there was like this graph is a big circle, but the largest percentage of people are, like, that actually make money with, are, like, the top 3 are sewing, prop, and wig commissioners. And it's, yeah, it's, and there's a lot of people. They're not just doing one category. They're doing multiple categories of like looking for, like, income, like, for sources of income when it comes to cosplay. A lot of people, it is literally their side hustle. It's not, like, their main thing. They still have, like, a 9-to-5 job, but, like, for, like, sewing commissioners, because of the amount of time that, like, sewing commission takes for cosplays, that one gets a lot trickier to do as a part-time thing. That's the video that made me think about wig sculpting, LOL. Yeah, I thought that video was so good. Like, and it was, like, I think so often when it comes to, like, hobby turned, like, profession, or you know, like, the monetizing hobby kind of thing, we, like, there are, or, like, just art businesses in general, there is, like, not a lot of, like, realistic content around it. There's a lot of, like, romanticized workflow videos, and we really do need, like, some of that, like, realistic, okay, here's the, like, the nitty-gritty, like, realistic side of everything. The text is so small. Is that Vladimir 2K on Twitch? What's up? All the letters are kind of blending together on the username. It, like, not much. You know what? I'm here. I'm cutting out heads for puppets, chatting with YouTube and Twitch while I am cutting out parts for some children's crafts later, because I am volunteering to help with some kids crafts for a summer program, which I'm not specifying which, because we protect children. But our craft for today is puppets. And if I had the original PDF file for this, like the sheet of paper that these were printed on, I would have absolutely used a Cricut. I want to try and learn how to sew so close. Yeah, I wish today was a sewing day, but it is not. Next week I should do some sewing though. I should be sewing. I'll be doing I'll be making some bowl cozies next week, so I can that'll be next Wednesday's project is bowl cozies. Alexandria, yes, I feel like the most popular crafting content creators have either been lucky to have a ton of financial support behind them or have been grinding for many, many years. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. What clothing line? I want a clothing line when I'm older. I'm very into fashion. I encourage that greatly. I do. I support that choice because it is also a dream of mine. Teru, do you think some professional cosplayers are just kids of wealthy people? And then that's a shame. Most crafts aren't watched nowadays. On to Teru's question. I think there is a there is this thought process that I remember hearing a lot about. It's like, okay, so like there are a lot more people who are going into the art space, and the reason why they are able to go into like the art sphere is like afford to go to art schools, like all that is because they do have financial backing, but it's not like a monolith, right? Like there are a lot of people that do go into like art and cosplay that like especially when they're like younger, that it is because of, you know, I think, I don't know. I think when it comes to like especially cosplay since 2020, with how much more widespread like the fandom spaces are and how many new people are getting into cosplay, you do have people that are getting into the space that are coming at it at a level that like other people who were beginners are not able to come at it at because of the different financial background. But I don't know that it's like specifically like a like cut and dry like cosplayers are only able to get to XYZ because they're wealthy. I think there is like obviously that advantage separation when you already have financial backing. You're like a financial backing from like like having like family money, or you know, being able to like have like the time to dedicate to spending, like you've watched me over the last like year almost. I started streaming like not fully a year ago, but like I have streamed and I have worked on that Hello Kitty costume. I worked on that for over a year. Like, given the amount of time that I was able to give to that project, with the fact that I had to work and I had other things on my plate that I needed to do, but I had to spend so much time. So either you have people who are able to spend a lot of time working on their cosplay, and they don't necessarily have a lot of money to spend on it, but they can spend a lot of time on it. Or you have people who are able to spend a lot of money on cosplays, and so they get a lot of custom made cosplays, or and then you have people that are like in the between, like you have it's a wide range. So I don't know. I mean, some professional cosplayers are kids with like wealthy kids of wealthy people. I mean, yeah, there are some cosplayers that probably are, but I don't know. And then Vlad, I have like 2 part-time jobs and a few side hustles. I'm going to try and get a 3rd job soon. Trying to set myself up for the future. I'm so proud of you. Like it really does depend. It really does depend on like the cosplayer. Like I think like especially like with adults, like those of us that do have adult money, you have your choice of like when you do get a job that pays better, you know, where you're going to spend that money. When I got, you know, like when I got promoted at work, when I had a job, you know, I spent money on like upgrading my sewing machine. I spent money on, you know, like where I wanted to spend my money. I put money towards, you know, saving for a trip to Japan, you know, those things. Now that I am without a job, but still my money is set aside for the trip to Japan, which I'm still going on because I need to have something positive to look forward to in life. And life's too short. You know, now that I am like back at like looking for a, like back to the thing of like looking for a job, we have the thing of like, okay, so what are the skills that I have like in front of me? What is something that I would like prefer to be doing, and how can, especially when I do move into a new like job and like potential career, whatever, I am able to still keep like that creative spark going. And for some people, like that creative spark is like dedicating, like, you know, they have their 9-to-5 salary, their, you know, their like what for whatever job they do, they do that, and they then they spend their off time building their cosplays, or you know the money that they set aside they spend on their cosplay. So it's a Numo heading to Japan. Yeah, it's gonna be a few months though. I'm not going right now because it's way too hot. I know I would die, so I'm going in the autumn. That sounds so fun. I'd love to visit Korea. Korea is also someplace that I would love to visit. I can't do that this year, but maybe once I find a job and I'm able to save up for another trip, Korea will be on that list, because I would love to visit. I would also love to visit I'd love to visit Australia at some point, but also that you got the problem of like it's way too hot. Australia's so warm. Yeah, but I do plan on vlogging, if not the whole of the Japan trip, a lot of it. I'm going to be respectfully obnoxious with the amount of photos and videos I take. I say respectfully obnoxious because I might find myself obnoxious, but my aim is to be as respectful as possible to everybody around me. BTW, super fun, cozy stream, inspires me to do some After Effects on the side. Love your cheer. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I need to do a bunch of video editing. I started yesterday when I couldn't get out of bed, because I was supposed to stream yesterday, but I could not get out of bed. I started editing, continued. I started editing the part of the video that I have been delaying editing, for my Hello Kitty construction, and it made me realize that I have to do some other editing stuff before I can get that video like to the point that I want it, like a lot more than I had initially planned on. So editing is not my strong suit, but I am working on it, and we'll get there. We'll get there. My goal is to tell the story of how I made my Hello Kitty costume. And that is what I will do. Okay. Once I'm done cutting out these heads, I will have to end the stream, but I'm going to stay on while I'm cutting out these heads because y'all are really good company while I'm doing this tedious task. I want to thank you so much for being here. I still got quite a few heads to cut out for these puppets. But yeah, next week will actually be a sewing stream because I've got a bunch of bull cozies I need to make. Ah, no. Don't do that. Okay. Got a bunch of bull cozies I need to make. You're a great company as well. I love being able to do some parallel crafting with you. I love parallel crafting. I love watching your videos. I haven't watched your most recent one, which I need to. I like watching your videos while I'm doing some non-video, like if I'm writing or anything like that. Because what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to have like companion like Substack posts that go along with like videos that I post. At least I'm gonna try to. So I guess plug for my Substack. Now I have one. I posted on it once. But my plan right now is like to have a companion blog post, and one my friend that I actually made the dress for, she took it the other day and I didn't take photos of it before she left. So she has said that she will send me photos that she takes at the wedding. So yay, I'll have those for my portfolio. And so anyway, she posts like writes on Substack, and she really recommended it. So she's like, you need a Substack. I was like, okay. So I finally posted on one. No worries. I just yap a lot. I'm currently procrastinating editing the video that needs to go up today. LOL. You got this. You got this. I am trying. So my thing with procrastinating is like I'm wanting to post more on Xiaohongshu, but I like to either talk a lot or write like, text, and I'm trying to like get it all get whatever text I write in English also translated into Chinese. So like that's, and I know it's bad because I'm just using the Translate app and it's not like the most accurate translation ever, but like I'm trying. And like the thing that I procrastinate is getting like the text all translated. Like I have one video where I've translated the text. I have the text all translated and organized pretty well actually in like a document that then I can like copy and paste. Like I can copy and paste from that document over into the video in like its placement. And my partner just sent me a video of the kittens that he is fostering. I must watch. Oh. I wish I could show you, but I can't. I can't because his computer screen is up and it has work stuff on it, so I can't show you the video. But it's so cute. I love that cat so much. I love the kittens so much. Like the work stuff is like just like in the corner of the video, so like I can't even though it's in the corner, I can't show it. I'm not gonna do that, but yeah, just know the kitten is cute. I've heard great things about Substack. Kind of sounds like modern, like live journal / blogger. Yeah, blogging. Yes, yeah. It just heavily giving, like, yeah, those vibes, which I do like. I am not like the best writer, so I have a couple of things that I'm writing to go along with videos that I'm like editing or like have planned for the future. My future, like, yeah, planning. So me too, ha ha ha. I feel bad about just using Translate, but I feel like it goes both ways. Yeah, I gotta go back into translating because I haven't done it in a while and I feel guilty about it. Like, yeah, me too. Yeah, because I like using Xiaohongshu and I want to, like, you know, contribute to the platform, but I'm also wanting to be like so respectful because like I know like I want to be understood in whatever way that I can be like understood. So yeah, that's something I've been procrastinating. Just not a good thing. He's so excited when I get to see the kittens on Saturday. I love the kittens so very much. I miss them. Because I've been volunteering, helping like lead out some children's crafts. I'm not leading them. I'm just helping the leader. Anyway, I'm helping out with children's crafts this week. I have not been able to go see the kittens all week. And it makes me so sad. I also haven't seen my partner all week. That also makes me sad. But I miss the kittens. But I'll get to see them at the end of the week, so. So excited. Okay. Two more sets to cut out. Sorry, three more to cut out. So yeah, so next week will be bowl cozies. I'm gonna work on some of those. I had this remnant of Harry Potter fabric that I bought in 2019. And it's been sitting in my stash because I have not known what to do with it because I don't like JK very much. I feel lots of ways. So I haven't known what to do with it. But I have a cousin who's going to be moving. And I think there's enough of this fabric that I can make two. I need to find like an alternate fabric. That I can make two bowl cozies as like a going away gift for her. And she's really into Harry Potter, and I already have it, so it's not like JK is going to be getting any more money. And at least I think she's into Harry Potter. Still, I don't know. Anyway, last time I talked to her, she asked me on like how to on like what pattern pieces she should use to create a cosplay similar to that Harry Potter game. that I have not played. There was a character's costume that she wanted to recreate, so I created a mood board of like all the patterns I would recommend for, you know, getting the image that she wanted. So, aw, thank you. So yeah, my plan right now, like, I'm not sure when the next time I'm going to post. Well, the next time I post on Substack is when I have a video that I have a companion blog post to go along with. So that's, yeah, it just depends on which video I am able to get filmed and edited and the article completed first. So I need to like buckle down on so much editing and like actually focus. I might end up just needing to do a bunch of like body doubling streams at some point where it's literally just it's just like a writing stream or a video editing stream where like every so often like it's just chatting, or I don't know, we shall see. Last one, and then I get to go eat lunch or breakfast. I don't know. No, I didn't eat breakfast. I had so earlier this morning, right when I was about to start stream, I was making my tea, and I was gonna like, you know, I was gonna get like a really quick like something to eat. And then the jar that I poured my matcha into ended up having like a chip in the bottom, which I never noticed, but I didn't notice before. Like I was like kind of surprised. So like I had poured into the jar first my raspberry syrup that I had made and like the almond milk. And I looked down and the counter, like there's syrup all over the counter. I was like, I didn't spill any syrup when I poured it into the jar. Like it all went into the jar. So what is that? And then syrup just pouring out of the bottom of the jar, and I was so sad. That my jar broke. But I have other jars, so we're good. I mean, we're fine. We'll get over it. And I was able to save my matcha, so all is good. But it did delay me getting like on stream for like a minute or so, couple minutes, because I had to clean up the mess. I think it was literally a moment in where I literally could say, well, there's no use crying over spilt milk, because milk was spilt. Just a little. All right. Okay, so I've completed my task. I've cut out the little heads for the puppets for tonight. This afternoon / yeah. That sounds yummy. Do you have a recipe? For the syrup? So I basically made a simple syrup. So equal parts water, equal parts sugar, and then I added in the amount of raspberries I had from my garden at the time. I did not actually measure the rest, the the raspberries. Theoretically, if it's like if you're making it like how it's supposed to, like strictly, like if you're doing like an actual like fruit syrup recipe, I think it is like it's equal parts water, equal parts sugar, equal to the amount of fruit that you have. So like I did because I was using a because of the amount of raspberries I had. I didn't have a ton of raspberries at the time, so it was a very small batch of syrup. I think I did a cup of water and a cup of sugar to the amount of raspberries that I had. And then I added I measured out, I did add vanilla extract to it, and it was vanilla, like the amount of vanilla I added was, I literally followed my heart with the vanilla. I was just like, okay, that seems like enough vanilla. I have some frozen blueberries that I've been meaning to use. Maybe throw them into a cake because that sounds delicious. That does sound delicious. I encourage that greatly. I used, okay, so this syrup that I made out of whatever berries were left over from like a couple weeks ago. I made raspberry lemonade cupcakes, which turned out pretty good. They were a little bit more fudgy than I had intended because of the amount of moisture that I had not accounted for the raspberries giving off when I baked them. So they were a bit fudgier. And the frosting that I made I was trying to make a buttercream frosting, the vegan buttercream frosting, which is it was a choice. It melted really easily, which is fine. It is what it is. I ended up making a lot more than I actually needed. So I still have leftover frosting in my fridge. Which is fine. I mean, it's good on croissants. It's like, it honestly, let's be real. Because I used vegan butter and a little bit of vegan milk, it really ended up being more like a compound butter, like a raspberry compound butter, compound butter, than it did a frosting. It's just a really sugary, like it's so sweet. Because there's so much powdered sugar in it. Anyway, but yeah, that's still good. And then I made raspberry syrup out of what the raspberries that were left over. And they were raspberries from my garden, so it's all good. But yeah, blueberry. I like making blueberry syrup. Actually, I have some frozen blueberries in my fridge. Now that I'm out of raspberry syrup, I think I'm going to make some blueberry syrup. Oh, you're going to go? Did it end? No, it didn't end. But yeah, bye, Teru. I am gonna get going now. Thank you so much for chatting. I appreciate you all being here so much. I know there were a few other people that were in the chat from Twitch and YouTube, and I don't remember everyone's names right off the top of my head, but I want to thank you so much for being here. It was so lovely to chat with you while I crafted. Got some stuff prepared for this evening and organized my craft room a little bit. I will be back here. I should be back here this Sunday evening to do a little bit of a gaming stream. We got to finish up some of like the last little tasks in the season of Infinity Nikki before it ends, and do some crafting within Infinity Nikki. And then next Wednesday, I will be here. I will do some sewing, making some bowl cozies, and then I won't be here on the 3rd. I will not be here on the 3rd. I'm taking the weekend off, because that's my birthday weekend. So, yes. I'll see you next time. Thank you.